Hey, what's up guys? Darkbreaker here, and in today's video we are going to react to the new wildrift patch 4.0a notes. This is like the teaser that they always like to do, and they are summarizing the balance changes. Maybe this... Is this big enough? Nice one. Maybe I should open up in pictures, guys. Okay, let's get started with the changes, and make sure to give me like feedback whether or not you guys like these balance change breakdowns or rundowns. And I'm just giving you guys my input about what I think about the changes and how I think those changes are gonna affect the meta. And obviously make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you guys are enjoying it. Tier list will hopefully come out soon for this as well. I guess the patch notes are coming out next Thursday. Okay, let's get started with the champion buffs. Akshan. Going rogue cooldown is getting lowered by 4 seconds. Oh, dude, in the endgame it's only 2 seconds. And on top of that, you're getting gain 2% missing mana regeneration per second when chasing scoundrels. Overall, I think it's a nice change, but it won't affect Akshan in my opinion, not too much. Let's move on to Blitzcrank. Overdrive movement speed after the first acceleration decay. From 10% to 25%. Oh, well, they're just increasing the movement speed you're getting. And then overdrive movement speed after the second acceleration decay from 25% to 50%. Oh, so they're basically just providing Blitzcrank with more movement speed, right? Now, Echo. This is actually something they nerfed, and so they revert the changes. The passive damage on monsters is getting increased by 30%. This is actually a big buff to the jungle clear speed of Echo, and honestly with these changes, this is a very big buff, and I think he's gonna be back into S+ tier in my opinion. Blitzcrank, not sure. I think I put him... I think I have him B tier right now, C tier. I think he's a solid B or A in the right. In the right hands, probably like an A, and in the wrong hands, like a C. Now, honestly, in the wrong hands, he's like an F tier. But if you're like the average Blitzcrank player is like a C or B, and if you're really proficient and good on Blitzcrank, you can make him like an A, in my opinion. Now, Kayn is getting a huge buff for Darken. The Darken Skith Shadow Assassin passive reset time is getting decreased by 1 second, and then the bonus damage is getting increased in the early game from 14% to 32%, and in the late game by 4%. But his early game damage is gonna be much stronger. And the Darken Skith increased the quantity of changes that Shadow Assassin receives when damaging ranged champions. Oh, so you can get the blue form quicker, I guess. That's what they mean, right? Quantity of charges that... Sure, yeah. So they are buffing the blue form by a lot. This is... The biggest thing that they are doing is definitely the damage increase on the passive. This is more than double in the early game. And then for the third ability, the cooldown is getting reduced by 1 second. So you can rotate quicker. And then on top of that, the ultimate. Marshvll, Trespass, Shadow Assassin range increased slightly, even more range. And now for Lucian. Base damage increased on Lucian in the early game by 15, which is actually a lot. I'm surprised they're buffing Lucian. I feel like Lucian is a champion that should get nerfed, honestly. Okay, let's move on to champion nerfs. I'm gonna scroll. So we have for Aatrox, champion nerfs. They are decreasing the healing by 5% in the early game and 50% in the late game. This is a nerf that is definitely going to hurt Aatrox, but I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. You know how they can cripple Aatrox? If they are decreasing the movement speed on the ultimate by a lot, and also the cooldown on the first ability, and maybe the base damage, I guess, on the first ability. This is going to hurt him, but nothing too major in my opinion. And next one is going to be Nautilus. Nautilus is getting nerfed. The cooldown of the first ability is getting increased by 1 second every rank, and the base damage is also getting decreased by 10 every rank. It doesn't matter too much. I would say it doesn't matter at all. Now for Rakan, the second ability. Grand Entrance base damage is getting decreased by 10 at every rank, doesn't matter. Battle Dance cooldown is getting increased by 2 seconds every rank. This is actually a lot. 2 seconds. Wait. That's the dash, right? It's not the knock-up, it's the dash. I guess it makes his kiting or his engage potential a little bit weaker, but nothing too major in my opinion. I think it's definitely going to hurt him a bit, but not too much. He's still going to be a very strong playmaking champion in the right hands. Now for Yone, they are nerfing the jungle damage onto minions by 10 in the early game and 200 in the late game. What? But it's a second ability. I guess it's mainly so he can finish big objectives as easily. It doesn't really matter too much. It's the second ability. It doesn't matter too much. But I mean, 200 on the second ability, it's definitely gonna... I mean, by that point in the late game, you use your auto attacks in your first ability and you just shot the... You just do like 500 crit, 500, 400 crit, 400 crit. It doesn't matter that much in my opinion. Second ability, cap to monsters is getting decreased as well. And the shielding value is also getting... Base shielding is getting decreased by 10. So they're kind of targeting Yone jungle a little bit, but I think in my opinion it doesn't matter that much. These changes don't matter that much, and 10 base nerf won't affect him that much because, I mean, the scaling stays the same. I mean, in the end, it's still a slight nerf. I think I have Yone S tier, so in my opinion he still stays S tier. Now for the system item buffs. Awakened Soul Stealer. Unique passive cooldown refund on kill getting increased by 5%. This is gonna benefit a few assassins, maybe Akali, maybe Diana. But I feel like it's an item that is kinda only fitting when you're snowballing super hard, and otherwise you have a lot of other good options. Horizon focus base damage is getting increased and scaling is getting increased. This is going to benefit a few crowd control pokers like Lux and Morgana. If they are running horizon focus, they don't have to run it. You have a better option, I mean another flex option, if you guys want to do like more utility damage. And now this is a huge change. Luden's Echo. They are increasing the base damage and the scaling. And Luden's Echo is like the #1 core item for almost any poking or any AP champions here. Like you have the assassins like Diana that are still using it. You have Gragas, you have every poking mage uses Luden's Echo and they're buffing it. So they're de facto buffing AP champions with this change. It's actually... pretty solid, like 5% more scaling and 10% more base is actually not that bad. And now for adjustments, we have Ashe, Lux, Zed, and Zoe. For Ashe, they are increasing the attack speed in the late game on the first ability and increasing the cooldown on the second ability. So they are nerfing the utility value from Ashe, but they are buffing the damage in the late game. So Ashe ADC better and Ashe support getting weaker. I guess that's the adjustment. I mean, the volley cooldown also affects ADC, but I mean, you kind of get what I mean. Now for Lux, the shield is getting buffed. Oh, but it's only the scaling. So they are buffing Lux support and nerfing AP Lux because they are buffing the base damage but nerfing the scaling. And the return shield, exactly the same, like I said. And for the third ability, the main damage tool, they are increasing the base damage but nerfing the scaling. So it's a nerf for AP Lux or full AP builds, and utility Lux in the support role is getting buffed pretty much. So Lux support buff and Lux mid nerf. Or also a Lux AP support is full AP support is also getting nerfed. But from what I've been told, a lot of people are using like Arden's shield, etc. on Lux. So it's like a utility buff in total for Lux. Damage nerf for scaling, like if you're building full AP. And for set adjustments, they are increasing the base attack damage by 6. That's a shit ton amount. But they are nerfing the attack speed per level by 0.5. I think this is a buff. 6 attack base damage is gonna increase all of your abilities. All of your abilities and your auto attacks are gonna be stronger, but they're nerfing the attack speed. I mean, it just kind of forces you to get Black Cleaver. I mean, Black Cleaver into Blade of the Rune King. But your early game is gonna be much stronger, in my opinion. Yeah, because in the early game, you will notice the 6 AD, additional AD, but you won't notice the 0.5 attack speed you're missing per level. You won't notice this. They're not nerfing the base attack speed, they're nerfing the scaling of the attack speed. So this is a nerf to, I guess, the early game is much stronger, but the late game might be a little bit weaker. But usually, I mean, no. I mean, you don't have to go for the attack speed build, to be fair. You can just go Black Cleaver, Stark's Gauge, Death Dance, or something like that, or with Darkbreaker. Or you just get Blade of the Rune King to compensate. But his early game is gonna be much better now. I think pre level 8, this set is much better than the previous set. Now Zoe. For the second ability, Spell Thief. Bug fix. Fix an issue that prevented this ability from applying on-hit effects. Spell Thief bonus movement speed is getting increased, and Spell Thief bonus movement duration is getting increased in the early game, but decreased slightly in the late game. Overall, I think this is a buff. It's not an adjustment, it's a straight up buff. Like, yeah, okay, in the full late game, this is a nerf, but the bones movement speed is a buff. Oh, in the late game, okay, in the early game, okay. They are buffing early game Zoe, but nerfing late game Zoe. I didn't see that they decreased the late game here. Slightly. Like, slight late game nerf, but overall her early game is gonna be much better. Like, jump 10, like literally 10 more in the early game. And here, 0.5 more in the early game, but 0.25 nerf. Overall, early game Zoe much better, but late game a bit weaker. But yeah, these are the changes. I think Kayn Blue seems very interesting. Kayn Blue and Echo, I think these are the two big changes, and also Luden's Echo buff. And now, honestly, Echo Luden's Echo. I was like, Echo Luden's Echo. Yeah, I didn't misspell. And Echo with Luden's Echo. Nice. Nice. Well, that's gonna be it for the patch notes rundown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.